Hey everyone, today we are going to be diving into channels, channel creation, and then the online channel worksheet setup. The goal of this call really is, again, for anyone who is starting out in Marketo Measure and is trying to better understand how it was configured, how it was set up, or if you are brand new and you got an instance that's pretty fresh, you can go in there, watch these videos, get a little leveled up there without having to go elsewhere. Now I'm gonna throw in your some of these articles here just so you have them. We talked about that last time. So let's talk about create channels. In Marketo Measure, channels, the way I think of these are just buckets. How do you want to bucket your information? Right, it's just a category, and then you have little small buckets. Right, so it's pretty straightforward in that. Now, overall, the setup here is pretty easy. If you need to set up a new one, you come here, you can add in a new channel, right? You can add in new subchannels, new, right? Pretty straightforward. Make sure you always press save down here. If you often sometimes when I've seen where people save up here, and all you're really saving is this enablement piece. You're not saving the things that happen down here. Now, this is the straight up out of the box piece to it all, right? You can optimize these fairly easily or very easily. Paid search, if you're using, let's say, I don't know, DuckDuckGo, I can come in here, add in DuckDuckGo, right? Not hard. Now, you can add as many as you can add. I think it's 40 channels and 200 sub channels. So, like you can pretty much do everything. I've rarely, I think I have seen only one user of Marketo Measure max those out. I don't think that's a goal for anyone. You really want to keep it pretty simple. And what I mean by that is in this worksheet, you want to keep your data points simple. You want to aggregate and bucket. When you get to when you get to reporting, you'll report on additional metadata such as the campaign or when you're looking for paid ads, right? You look at the keywords that were used, right? You can really drill into that. The channel, again, because it is a bucket, it's very high level, right? You're zooming out and seeing at a holistic way, like how well did my paid search work. Now, if you're like most of your cost or spend is getting pushed into AdWords. So even then, you want to drill into a sub-channel level, and then at that point, you look at, okay, what campaigns were those? What were the keywords? Things of that sort. As we pivot to the online channels piece, you can download the original template, which would be exactly what's here. If you've already uploaded the template, you can download the current rules to make those updated. I'm going to now come over here, and here's what it would look like. This works as a waterfall, right? So if I needed to add in a key source or medium for my paid search, I can come in here, I will insert, I will take these, and then I would say, let's say my medium is just paid, and my source is Google. There you go. You do not want to remove anything that's in a bracket. Okay, these brackets have, due to the integrations that we have, enable us to be able to grab a hold of that data on the Marketo Measure side. Also, for those that don't have an integration, we have preset parameters that we're looking for those data points. We will talk about what the referring website column can do, and how you would set that up. But you don't want to ever remove any brackets from it. You want to only add to it, right? So you'll notice, like, let's say I'm promoting on DuckDuckGo, right? So I can come in here and I would say, okay, I want to add in a new paid search channel. So insert, I'm going to do paid search, and I'll call this DuckDuckGo, and then it'll be paid, and it goes how I actually put in the source, right? And so these need to be identical to how you set up your UTMs. It is I prefer that. That's my best practice, as putting it in exactly how you see fit. Now, it is not case sensitive. So, for example, like this, if Facebook is not a capital F and you have a lowercase, we would still categorize it, right? Measure would still categorize that, push that over. But I still think it's just best practice. Put it in as you have your UTM set up. Now, I have seen where people were, like, oh, well, there's a bracket for AdWords. I need to do a bracket for DuckDuckGo. And you don't do that. It's just don't, because it's not how it works. All right. And then you get into here. Let's say you have, let's get into our emails, right? So I can look at this and I know that I actually use for my emails, I can just say email. And then I would say the medium is email, but my source, my source is going to be right. So if you're using UTMs inside of your marketing automation emails, make sure you add that here so we can capture that. You'll see these asterisks back here at the very bottom. These are capture all. So if anything is in the medium, we'll then push it to others. So the good news about this is if anyone hits your site and you don't have a medium that is categorized or acknowledged in this waterfall, it would work through this entire worksheet and say, aha, but this says if anything's in the medium, we're going to push it to other. We do that same thing for the source. So if there's not a medium, but there is a source, or vice versa, we can do that. And then at that point, what you would, to acknowledge that, or to clean up that data, let's say you misspell something. So let's say something enters into this because the medium was EML. So, someone did that. I can come back here because, you build like a report inside of your CRM that shows you everything that is other. And with that, and I'll probably make another video around this, but in case I don't, you create let's say a Salesforce report, and you say, okay, the filter is anything that has the channel of other, and then your columns would basically be, the medium source campaign, and you could look at the three predominant UTMs within that that's populated to other, and then you can just basically go back and pre-fill that, or populate that into here. This would actually backfill that data point because the data lives in the Marketo Measure data warehouse that's stored data. So anytime you make an adjustment to your data points or how you want to categorize your data, we will retroactively move those data points to the appropriate place. So in this example, let's say we have a few touch points that have EML. There you go. You put EML there and it will push right there. Now, y'all are probably calling me out. This would have captured it, but I'm just trying to give you an example of OR logic. Okay, so it needs to be this or this to capture it. Okay, so because this is already there, we'll remove that. And I could, if something comes in with social, but it was spelled incorrectly, I can do, say it's spelled with AIL, KO, right? You can do that, and it would repopulate it up in there. So you get the idea there. All right, now there's some other columns that we have going on. We have landing page. So landing page strategy, not super scalable, but there's going to be times, let's say, that you just want to bucket everything that hits that landing page a very specific way. Let's say it's a sales landing page or something like that. I can come in here and say, okay, if anyone, let's go here. If anyone comes into here and the landing page contains sales docs, and that's part of the part of the URL, then we would go in here and we just call it sales LP, and then we'd bucket into there. Any landing page that hits that, it'll go there. Okay. Now, referring website is the way I describe this is really if you have a partner site where, let's say, you're paying money for referral traffic, so you're promoting an article on that web page, and that partner site has a link that then goes back to your site as a to a form. So similarly, we just come here, we would insert would be partners name, and so we know like what kind of traffic we're getting from them. And keep in mind, right, Marketo Measure captures referral traffic, so even if they don't submit a form, we could still see the amount of referral that comes from them if they're already cookied with us, which is great. So and then it would be if anything came from partners. Um, and you don't have to put any prefixes before that. The article right here, actually, oh, sorry, right here outlines all this for you. It goes a lot more in depth. It says you don't need to add in the .com. I like to just say, okay, if it's partnersname.com and anything that comes after that, like, so if there's any additional tagging that site may have done, or if there's additional parameters that are added onto the URL for whatever reason, like, we'll just capture it coming from that site, right? I don't need the exact specific page that it's coming from. And then I can see that coming from our partners that are driving to us. I've also, worked with people who are using Marketo Measure that they didn't even know of the referral traffic that was hitting their site. And so there was a ton of information, not a ton, but there was a lot of touch points coming into this other bucket because of the referral traffic. And so we were able to come back due to building out that report I talked about earlier for the other bucket. And I can just say, okay, well, let's add in all those websites here. And then we label out each of those partners, and we were able to give them credit where credit was due, or even acknowledge maybe people were promoting us and promoting something about the, uh, the, the product or the offering that we just weren't aware of, and we could steward and build relationships there and build out a better partner network. So that is, the high level how to go about this. Key takeaways: really make sure you keep it very simple. Don't get super complex by putting a ton of campaign UTMs in here. Try your best to stick with the medium and the source. If you find that there's misspellings, that's okay. Your data is not lost. Attribution isn't out of control. We'll be able to clean it up. Don't remove these, and think of it always as the waterfall that it is. It moves down. So you always want paid efforts above non-paid efforts. Okay. It's really key here, right? Because, you could be paying for ads on Facebook. And so if you have just your source as Facebook only and you don't have a proper medium set up, you could have organic social and paid social from Facebook populating way too early. And you don't want that either. So your paid ads and things of that sort, you want to make sure that you're pushing at the top with proper UTM structure, and then put all your non-paid ads with proper UTM structure down below. Hope this is helpful. I'll put the links. I'll put these links down in the description below. Feel free to leave any comments, questions as well. And yeah, thanks for watching.